And in particular, it's a thing, incredibly worthy thing called the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive. And that's the thing that lays down what water companies and sewage companies must and must not do. And what that legislation says is that you should only ever be dumping sewage into the environment in extraordinarily rare, unique sets of circumstances. So I was simply really intrigued that there was the Isle of Man behaving in just exactly the same way, in the same level of disregard as those in Northern Ireland and England and Wales and Scotland. Same old story, different picture.
Do you think that's something that would put off tourists, for example, and people going and visiting and using those beaches if they knew the extent of this issue?
Oh, listen, that you would be absolutely horrified. Could you imagine sitting on a holiday beach with your children, thinking that they were going to paddle and play in the sea as an adult, going for a swim with yourself, and then suddenly realizing you were potentially swimming in your own waste? That is why there's laws. And that, for me, what is so important about the story today. Here is the UK's chief medical officer telling you bluntly and clearly, sewage is now becoming a public health issue. And if government doesn't intervene and make these water companies comply with the law, well, as we've seen in Brixham in the last 48 hours, there has been now the first hospitalizations because of that cryptosporidium. It is not going to be long before someone actually dies. And by the way, the UK government was taken to the European Court of Justice in 2012 and found guilty of breaching the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive. So perhaps it's a question to ask government in the Isle of Man, were you aware of that court case? Were you aware that it happened? If not, you're incompetent. And if you were aware of it and you did know it happened, what have you done in the last 12 years to make sure our sewage system is compliant with the law? I'd be interested to hear what answers they might have.
And for you, you have gone from being this rock star of the 70s to having this as being something that this issue of water pollution being something that you're really passionate about and wanting to campaign about. Why is it something that is so
Well,
important to you?
I have clearly a direct engagement in all of this, in that I've had a lifetime spent as a fly fisherman. I've spent far too many hours in, next to, on top of, looking at rivers and water bodies. But ultimately, what really got me motivated for this, we as the general public put our faith in our systems and our institutions and our governments. And we put our faith that they will do the right thing to protect us. And as the chief medical officer in the United Kingdom has spelled out today so clearly, those institutions and those systems has failed us, because sewage entering the environment is now becoming a public health issue. Those institutions took our trust and our faith and betrayed it, and that is outrageous. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that changes.